Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today I would like to talk about the concept of loot crates in video games. So this is not by any means something that occurred recently. Games have been using loot crates since God knows how long, but to be completely honest, I never really did a video on it, and I would kind of like to bring my own take after having experienced loot crates on a number of games, and I would also like to get your personal take in the comment section. I'd like you guys to tell me how you personally feel about loot crates, because I'm just curious to see how people feel about it after all this time has kind of gone by. I'm going to be bringing up a couple of games like Overwatch. Here's the Storm. Just going to briefly touch on that. Paragon, also another game that now and actually for a while has been using loot crates. Mass Effect and Dragon Age. These are all games they use loot crates to some extent, and I'm going to be bringing my own experience in interacting with these particular games, loot crate systems, and how I kind of personally feel about it. And again, I would just like to reinforce that I also want to know your take on this, because it's just something that has me a little bit curious if there's actually a number of people that are interested in these systems, if these systems are actually, good for the people that are playing the video games, or if it's just something to keep us hooked and gambling on these boxes until we finally get whatever it is that we want to get out of these boxes. So first we're going to begin with talking a little bit about Overwatch, because recently I was at a friend's house and we were all playing Overwatch. We take our consoles there and we were playing Overwatch on PS4, and we all just get together almost like a LAN setting but with consoles, and we all just play a couple of games. And we were playing Overwatch, and my friends were planning on doing some arcade matches specifically for the purpose of acquiring boxes, which I thought, it was a little bit ridiculous, because essentially what we were doing was we were all agreeing to play this mode in Overwatch, which is a mode that we clearly don't like as much as regular play, doing quick play where you actually play. Sometimes you'll get capture points, other times you'll get payloads, that kind of stuff. We like that. But like, arcade mode was, we'll do this to get some crates. And I thought it was an interesting concept that, like, Blizzard is essentially using crates to promote the less played game modes in order to get people to play these game modes, and they reward people for kind of like suffering through these game modes with loot crates. Now, I'm sure that out there's someone who prefers playing 3v3, and there's someone who prefers playing Mayhem instead of regular play mode, but I think a vast majority of Overwatch's player base probably enjoys the regular modes better than the modes that are available on the arcade. Now, I could be wrong there, but that's just an assumption that I am making. And I thought that it was an interesting thing. They were like, well, let's suffer through this, essentially, to get a couple of crates. And then I realized that I got into this conclusion that it's like, even though I wanted to get the crates, because it's just like this thing, I can get these 9 crates if I do these things. But then I was like, I don't really care about these goddamn crates. It just popped into my head while I was doing that, and I was talking to them how I just don't care about these crates, because 90% of the times all I get is garbage out of them anyway. So why should I care? It actually got me thinking a little bit about the mentality behind these loot crates. Like, are they actually a positive experience for the user? Opening up a crate, and there's even this cool animation, and you're just like, you might be giddy with anticipation a couple of times. Like your first couple of times that you're opening up a crate and you're thinking, am I going to get a legendary? Am I going to get this and that and the other? But to be completely honest, I think with me, the novelty kind of wore off after possibly like the 10th crate I opened in Overwatch or something, because quite simply, it kept giving me all of these sprays and voice lines and avatar portraits and all this other stuff that I really didn't care for. And I know that some people are like, oh, but you're getting these sprays and it's a cool little spray. And I'm like, dude, fuck the sprays. That's what I would say. I'm like, this game has thousands and thousands of skins, and that is the one thing I care about. I don't care about no voice lines. I don't care about no sprays. I care a little bit about my avatar portrait, but even that, I don't care enough to care about these loot boxes. Now, I might be in the minority here. Maybe some people like customizing their Mercies and their Pharahs and whatnot with all the perfect sprays they want and all these things. Or maybe even if you're playing Reaper, you want the spray that says die, 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 so that you can spray it on the floor after you do Death Blossom or whatever. But again, I'm curious. How is your experience with that stuff? Because, like, I've been mostly disappointed. And the fact that some of these crates are actually timed, like the yearly event that took place, or the PV event that took place that had a really cool Torbjorn skin that I would have loved to get. I would have essentially had to put a bunch of money into the game and pray to God that I would eventually get the loot crate that I wanted. Because you can't even buy the skins with the in-game currency, because like whenever you get duplicates in Overwatch, you get a little bit of the in-game currency, and you can't even buy those timed exclusive skins with that currency, which is very frustrating. At least you couldn't in the past. I'm not sure if that's changed. I don't think you can, and I find that, again, I find that to be frustrating. Like I want to be able to somehow influence what comes in the box. You know, I want to be able to say, I want a box that has Torbjorn stuff, or I want a box that has assault hero stuff or defense hero stuff. At least let me somehow influence what is going to be on the box. I kind of feel like that might have been a more positive experience, but as it stands, to me, it's just like a really bad experience. Every time I open a box, I'm just like, I'm just bracing for disappointment. I'm not even emotional in the slightest. Like, for instance, while I was playing during that yearly what's it called, the I don't know, the year celebration when Overwatch made 1 year, and there was this big event. While I was playing that event, I got in 3 crates on the same session. This is on the same session. I've gotten the Power Ranger skin for Genji, which is a class that I don't play, a character that I pretty much don't play because I don't like Genji. Not my style. I'm not saying he's a bad character, and I'm just saying Genji's not my style. And I got 3 times the same legendary skin for him. So you can imagine my disappointment. Can I get a skin for a character I actually play? No, I get the same 3 in the same session, mind you. I got the same legendary skin 3 times, which I think is ridiculous. There's like some kind of probability deity up there that just straight up hates my guts. And I understand that, you know, this is all like gambling and at the end of the day. But I don't think that is a good experience for the end user. Now, I could be wrong, and that's why I'm making this video. I'm very curious to know how you guys feel about that stuff. Now, another game that implemented, not recently, it implemented these a while ago, implemented loot boxes, was Here's the Storm. Now, I haven't played Here's the Storm in a while, and when they did this Here's the Storm 2.0 thing, they're like, oh, loot boxes and skins and banners and sprays and all of these other things that you can get in Here's the Storm. And I was looking at that, and I was like, you know what this doesn't make me want to do? It really, really doesn't make me want to go back to Here's the Storm. Because at least in previous Here's the Storm, I could be like, you know what? I like this skin in this character. I'm going to buy it. I don't know if that system is still in place or not, but the whole thing about the potential for some skins to be locked behind boxes, which again, I don't know if that is the case or not, just really ticked me off. And I haven't touched Here's the Storm in 2.0. I kind of want to. I'm curious about it, but at the same time, so many heroes have come out. I'm not sure if I'd be up for that. Another game that employs the loot crate system is Paragon. Now, as you guys know, I'm very passionate about Paragon. I enjoy playing Paragon quite a bit, even if I'm frustrated on a lot of my matches. It comes from a place of love. But ultimately, I decided, because I was playing Paragon, and I had been playing a whole lot of Greystone. And Greystone is a character that, as you guys know, I love playing Greystone. He's a lot of fun for me. He's a super basic character. His kit is like as basic as it gets, but it's just fun to play. So I like this character, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'd like to get a cool skin for this character. So I go into the whole loot crate system. A while back, I purchased some currency in-game because it's a game that I play a lot, so I want to have currency in there in case I ever want to buy something on impulse. And I was thinking, okay, so there's this special skin for Greystone that almost looks like an Iron Man armor. In a way, it doesn't look exactly like an Iron Man armor, but it's got kind of like the same color scheme going on. It looked cool as hell. It's the Novaborn red and orange variant. So I really liked that skin, right? I saw the skin in game, and I was like, I want to get this skin. I can't buy that skin in game. You can buy the Novaborn Greystone, the basic one, which is like black and orange. And I was like, that's not the one I want. I want the red and orange one. But that one you can only get, or at least you could only get back then, through loot boxes. And I was like, well, okay. I'm going to buy 10 loot boxes, which is the maximum that you can buy in one go. I'm going to buy 10 loot boxes, 10 keys, and we're going to get this done. And hopefully, obviously, I knew that the chances of me getting that specific skin were very slim. Now, I have to say, in Paragon's defense, at least I think I got enough skins out of those boxes where I felt like I didn't completely waste my money. But overall, I was disappointed because I spent all of this currency that I put in game. I don't even know how much money it is for the 10 boxes and 10 keys. But I spent all of that. And not only I did not get what I wanted, I didn't even get like a variation on what I wanted. Hell, a lot of the skins I got weren't even for heroes that I play. And again, it's just that frustrating feeling that I get, and I just kind of felt like I threw my money away, in a way. Again, like I said, in its defense, I actually got quite a few skins. So I was kind of okay with it, but at the same time, I was super frustrated with the fact that, of course, I didn't get the one that I wanted, because I would probably, statistically, considering how many skins were on those loot boxes, I would probably have to buy, I don't know, friggin' 1 million loot boxes or something to be able to get what I want. And again, it's just that thing where I'm left wondering, like, how beneficial is this for players? Like, I understand that this is beneficial for the people developing these games, obviously, because people are buying the loot boxes, and at the end of the day, it's a business. It's all a business, and they have to maintain servers, and specifically in Paragon's case and Hero's case as well, these are free-to-play games, so they have to still maintain servers, maintain quality of service, and I know that the Paragon team is doing great work in a lot of areas of the game, particularly when it comes to community building. They're also doing great work there, so I'm super happy about it, and I'm okay, but it's just like, I wish that they hadn't implemented loot boxes. Just like I wish Heroes hadn't done it. Just like I wish it wasn't even a thing in Overwatch. I wish there was another system that we could have, like grind out in-game currency or something, or be able to buy with real money some kind of in-game currency that would just allow me to get what I want instead of being left out to chance. Like, I'm not saying that I'm against microtransactions per se, because I'm not. I'm kind of against it when you're talking about full-fledged titles, which specifically comes into play with Mass Effect and Dragon Age. But like when it comes to Overwatch, I'm also willing to kind of allow that to happen, because Blizzard's support of Overwatch is exceptional as well, at least in my personal opinion. The servers don't really lag for me, and I'm in Portugal, which is not known for the best internet services in Europe. At least that's not been my experience throughout my entire life living in Portugal. And the fact that I'm able to play the game lag-free, and the fact that they support the game with constant updates, new heroes, events, all this stuff, to me that's cool, and it keeps the game somewhat fresh for the people that actually invest a whole lot of time into it, and I think that's okay. So microtransactions in that case, I'm kind of okay with it, but at the same time, I can't help but be really frustrated at the loot crate mechanics of it. Now I'm going to bring up 2 more games, and that is Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and here is where these games, and specifically I'm talking about Mass Effect Andromeda and Dragon Age Inquisition, this is where the loot crate system really pisses me off. So these games have you grind out in-game currency, or you can buy them with real money to get these boxes. And these boxes are not just cosmetic. And that's where it gets even worse than any of the other titles that I've mentioned here. Because, for instance, Paragon, you don't have to buy heroes. You can play any hero you want, whenever you want, completely for free. In the case of Heroes of the Storm, you have to buy the heroes, but you can grind out the currency in-game. In the case of Overwatch, you can play whatever hero you want. When it comes to Mass Effect and Dragon Age, classes, okay? Like, for instance, you want to play a Krogar, is that the name they have? You know, the big tanky dudes. I forget the actual name of the Krogan. I think it's Krogan. You want to play a Krogan Vanguard, for instance, which is something that I wanted to do. Well, you have to be lucky enough to get him in a crate. And that to me is just like, I'm sorry, what? Because it's not just a cosmetic thing. Like the skills actually change, the stats actually change. So there's a class that I want to play and I can't unless I either put real money on it or I'm not sure. Can you buy them piecemeal? I'm not sure if you can buy them piecemeal on Mass Effect Andromeda. I know a lot of people hear the name Mass Effect Andromeda, they're instantly like, oh man, that game sucks anyways, who cares? But it's like, it's a good way of showcasing another way in which loot crates have been implemented that I personally don't care for. Like, I want to be able to play the classes that I want to play, period. And it's like, this is a $60 game. I don't think that locking out classes behind microtransactions is acceptable. Even Paragon, which is a free-to-play game, I can play any hero I want for free. That includes heroes released on the day they were released. I can play that hero. And I find that this whole thing where they segregate classes inside of loot boxes, I think that's a problem. Same thing happened to me in Dragon Age. I wanted to play the dwarf which has the bombs. I believe it's the dwarven alchemist in Dragon Age Inquisition in the multiplayer mode, which I understand a lot of people are also going to say, man, Dragon Age Inquisition's multiplayer mode sucked anyways. I kind of liked the co-op of that mode. I thought it was fun. So I wanted to play an alchemist dwarf. And guess what? I had to grind the crap out of the game until it eventually gave me the class I wanted in the loot boxes, which again, I think is friggin' ridiculous. You know? And ultimately, it leads me to look upon these loot crates through the examples that I've given you. And it leads me to look at these loot crates and be like, man, these things really fucking suck. Am I the only one who thinks this way? Let me know in the comment sections below. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, hit it up with a like. If you're new here, subscribe so that you're always notified whenever I put up a new video. And I'll see you in the next one.